Good afternoon and welcome to the 2020 Virtual Spring Forum. My name is Juan Doe, pronounced like the magic Juan without the D. I'm calling in from West Seattle, and I'm so excited and honored to be with you today. If you don't remember me, I was the MC for the Prevention Summit back in November. I'm also the guy that was competing on American Ninja Warrior, and also the guy that shared with you about the catchphrase, "Hold up, that is whack." Now, I realized since we last saw each other 6 months ago that things are very different. You know, you probably would imagine right now that we would be at the Great Wolf Lodge. And things are different, but one thing isn't. We're committed to putting on this Spring Youth Forum because today it's about celebrating you. Our theme is Imagine, Innovate, and Inspire. And the sole purpose today is to acknowledge, to recognize all the incredible work that you've done to help improve the health and wellness of youth, families, and communities across Washington State. Now, even though we are not together in person, it does not mean that we're not able to connect with one another. If you remember, my style is it's not about speaking to you, it's about having a conversation where we go back and forth. And to do that, it's quite simple. You'll notice in the options area where there's a part where it says questions. That's where you can enter in and engage with me, and I can engage with you. So I just want to test that out real quickly before we jump into things. If you could, I'd like to do a roll call. Get to know who is on the call and where you're coming from. So if you could, do me a quick favor, go over to questions and enter in where you are watching and where you are listening from for this virtual Spring Youth Forum. Do that for me real quickly because I want to give you a shout out for being on this call. We got Tacoma, Washington. We got Yakima. We got Friday Harbor, Darrington, San Juan Islands, Moses Lake, Omak, Lakewood, Othello, White Swan, Spanaway, Harrow, Battleground. Man, you guys are coming from all across Chehalis. That is so awesome. And I want to thank you guys for being here for this incredible first ever virtual Spring Youth Forum. Now, I want you to know there is a group of people that made this happen. They wouldn't mention all the work they put in, but I want to make sure that we acknowledge them for all the incredible work they've done. The first group of people I want to give a shout out to is the Washington State Healthcare Authority Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery. This division is what's bringing the Spring Youth Forum and making it possible. They also help to oversee the prevention services across the state. The second group of people is the Conference Planning Committee. Let me tell you, you guys have no idea how many hours we spent to make sure that technology is working smoothly, that all of us from different locations are coming together and making sure that this is the best possible experience for you. In addition to that, we have some sponsoring agency. We have the Washington State Department of Health and the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board, who's helping make this happen. So if you could, back in the questions box, go ahead and put a nice thank you with a couple exclamation marks to help us acknowledge and thank them for all their hard work in making this possible. Now, I'm curious, how many of you, is this your first time participating in the Spring Youth Forum? Let me know that. And then also, how many of you have been to the Spring Youth Forum before? If you've been here before, let me know how many times. We got a lot of new people. A lot of new people. And okay, we got some people who've been here before. Awesome. Who else? Fantastic. All right, so whether this is your first time or if you've been to the Spring Youth Forum before, I want to welcome you. And we're going to have a great time today to acknowledge, to showcase the great things that you're doing all across the state these last couple months. Now, before we transition and me sharing a brief message to help you to kind of thoughts on how to navigate this new normal that we're all experiencing, I want to make sure that you can hear us clearly. So there's a couple of things where if you're experiencing any technical difficulties or any sound issues, there's a part on the side where you can raise your hand. Simply raise your hand, And what that will allow is our team to reach back out to you to make sure we can help troubleshoot that you can have a smooth, great experience with us. So if you are, again, just click the raise your hand button, and then we'll take care of you. Awesome. So I know I was speaking to representatives from the Washington Health Authority and prepping for this event. And, you know, I was asked to share a message during this time. And for me, it makes me reflect back in our time together at the Prevention Summit. I shared with you a quote, and if you don't remember it, you might want to write this down. John Quincy Adams, the sixth president of the United States, said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more, then you are a leader." The reason why I'm sharing this quote with you again is simply because each and every one of you are leaders, not because of what you said, but because of what you did these last 6 months, the impact that you've made within your communities, with your prevention projects. And I want you to recognize that. And the goal is to help continue that momentum throughout this uncertain time that we're going through. Now, as I shared with you before, our goal is to be interactive. And we have that question area. There'll be times I might be asking you things. It might feel silly because there's no one around you. But I want you to do it. Why? Because I want you to throw yourself into this time together, to be 100% present as I'm 100% present with you. Because I figure if we're going to spend this time together, why not make the best use of it? And also is that by engaging, you're going to get more out of it. You're going to have a lot more fun. And also, I can say that by being engaged in our time together, not only will you gain benefits of learning lessons for you, but personally, you can also win some cool prizes from me or you. So make sure you stay engaged in our time together. Make sure to engage in the question box. If you have questions, we're going to actually have a Q&A at the end of kind of my message this morning, so that I want to make sure I can answer any questions, any thoughts that are on your mind. The 3 points I want to kind of share in our time together, 3 thoughts, are around our theme of imagine, innovate, and inspire. I'm sure during this time that some people have shared with you, imagine what is possible in this time, the things that you could do. I know things are not convenient, things are changing, but imagine what is possible. I think it's important to have a vision of what could happen during this time, what good can happen. But to be frank, I know that things can be tough. I remember it was March 18th. I was driving home to West Seattle and had the radio on, and they made the announcement that Governor Inslee was closing down school for the rest of the year. In the box, share with me, where were you when you heard this news that school was closing for the rest of the year? Where were you? Make sure to plug that in. I'm curious because I know it was a distinct moment for me where knowing that I was in the car, it was like a very big moment thinking like, wow, things are changing quickly. It caught us by surprise. And for me, I had an array of different emotions. For me, at first, I was concerned for all of you. I was concerned for teachers. I was concerned about my parents. I was anxious. I was trying to be optimistic. I was like, it's going to be okay. Things always will work out. I had this array of emotions, and kind of my biggest learning lesson through this experience, and what I want to share with you is whatever you have felt and whatever you are feeling, it's okay. Because I think oftentimes we want to find the good in things. I think it's important to choose that focus. That's your choice. We can't control the things that are happening. What we can control is us being here together, us connecting, focusing, having a great time, celebrating our successes. But it's not always that easy. So I want to share with you a tool, a thought. It's called having an honest attitude. What that means is whatever you have felt and are feeling, you always want to acknowledge what you're feeling. And the reason why is because I've realized we're all like soda cans. What happens as we go through life, life shakes us up. I know when that news came out that school was closed the rest of the year, I know it shaked up my world. And I'm sure it shaked up your world in a different way. And I think what's crucial is to be able to imagine what is possible, to imagine the good that can come in your life and other people's lives. It's starting from a place of, not ignoring your emotions, but acknowledging it, right? Because think about a soda can. If you take a soda can, you keep shaking it up, but you don't release the carbonation that's inside. what happens to the soda can? Go ahead and enter it in the question box. What happens to the soda can? Right? It explodes. And that's what happens to many people. So I'm sure you're aware that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think that's important this time is to keep ourselves healthy in every facet, physically and mentally. And a great way to do this is to make sure you always acknowledge how you feel. When you acknowledge it, you can then process and work through it in healthy ways. So maybe for you, with how things have changed and adjusted to this new normal, maybe something that could be a routine thing you do to help you to feel good. Maybe it's talking to a caring adult. Maybe it's connecting with a friend via phone, via FaceTime. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's picking up a book or learning something new that you've been wanting to learn. Whatever it is, always make sure you acknowledge how you feel. Secondly, make sure you gain perspective. What do I mean? Is I know after learning about the schools closed for the rest of the year and that, we're adjusting to this new normal, I began calling friends. I began talking to different people all across the country and the world, connecting with people and having meaningful conversations. And what it allowed me to do is just to gain perspective. Well, I know things are different. It's not easy to constantly adjust to things, but by talking to these friends, it helped give me an idea of you know what? I'm not in this by myself. We're in this together. And I think that's an important thing to remember where we're practicing social distancing to be safe, to protect everyone. But social distancing does not mean social isolation. So make sure you're connecting with people. We're in this journey together. I've shared this quote before, and it's so powerful. It's an African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast in life, go alone. But if you want to go farther in life, go together. Understand that we're all on this journey together, and you don't have to go it by yourself. So make sure you acknowledge how you feel, reach out and connect with people to gain perspective. Lastly, is that if you don't like what's happening, focus on what you can control and do something about it. I know for me, when I was adjusting throughout this new normal, it was a lot of changes. And for me, I realized, hey, what can I keep consistent in my life? So some things I started doing is what is my routine? What do I keep normal? So you know what, if every day I was working out, the gym's closed now, but it doesn't mean I can't go outside and go running and enjoy the beautiful weather. It can't mean I can't still work out at home. It might be different. It's not what I was used to, but I could still do it so that it creates some type of routine to make me feel physically, mentally healthy. So whatever you're feeling, understand it's okay. It's normal. We all have different array of emotions. My big thing is acknowledging it, reaching out to people, not being by yourself so that you can gain perspective. And then lastly is make sure now say, hey, you know what, this is not ideal. I can't control this, but what do I want to happen and to take action and do something about it. I believe by having that honest attitude and processing that emotion, it helps us to shift from you know what, oh man, I can't believe this happened to now, you know what, this has happened. This is what it is. But let me now imagine what is possible, what I can do differently than beforehand. Now, imagining, it goes hand in hand with the second part of our theme, innovate. And I want you to think about it this way. How many of you have ever taken an Uber? Go ahead and say, yes, I've taken an Uber in the question area if you had beforehand. Also, how many of you have ever sent money via Venmo? You sent money via Venmo to anybody. Go ahead and write that down for me. And then lastly, how many of you have ever brought in a Groupon to hang out with friends, whatever it may be? How many have ever taken an Uber? How many have ever sent Venmo? How many ever brought a Groupon? Make sure you plug it in the questions box because it might increase your chances to win that gift and prize. Now, the reason why I bring those three companies up is that they were all created during times of uncertainty. During 2008, 2009, when we're going through an uncertain time where things were changing. And what they did is that they created an idea that would help solve problems. They did things differently than beforehand. So think about Groupon, right? You might ask your parents, hey, where do you find coupons and stuff? They might clip things out of papers for groceries, things like that, or they have to search via Google. But now Groupon, they found a way to have all these different deals brought to one spot. Uber, right? Beforehand, a lot of people used to take taxis or find different ways to share to get somewhere. Now you can pull up an app, boom, you can call someone to pick you up. Venmo. Sometimes it's hard to send money. You might know people or parents might be writing checks, that type of thing, or cash, but now it's like, I can send to you right away. Hey, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to pay you back for that meal. They found a solution. They were able to innovate and do things differently during times of uncertainty. And I want you to know this is an opportunity right now to do the same thing in your life. I remember it was my first year in college. I graduated from Decatur High School in Federal Way, and I attended Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. And to give you some perspective is that I come from a family that escaped the Vietnam War. We didn't have a lot growing up. And we grew up in Tacoma, Washington, and at the time in a community called Hilltop. And during that time, it was not the best of places. And so growing up, I wanted to succeed so I can take care of my parents and to make them proud. When I got to high school, I had a lot of friends who were more like acquaintances that got into drugs and alcohol. And it's just something I wasn't interested in. And I realized that whenever I was just around these individuals, I wasn't making the best decisions. I wasn't being nice to people. I didn't like who I was. So I made this decision of not hanging out with them. And I wanted to focus on my future and go to college. So all the time, I'd stay in touch with my teachers, career counselors, find scholarships to go to Pepperdine because it was a top 50 university in the entire country. I got accepted to go to my dream college, but when I got there, it was very difficult to go through, meaning all the students there were a lot smarter than I was. My GPA was below average. My SAT, my AP score were all below average. So I felt I had to catch up. And I remember my first semester in school, it was by far the most challenging, where I felt like I studied literally like 5-6 hours a day after class. I wasn't having fun. I was reading books, and I read so slow. Can any of you relate? Go ahead and write down the box if you can relate, because for me, I just had a difficult time with the classes and all the reading that I had to do. So for me, I started struggling. And I remember I reached a point where I was so sleep deprived. I had 3 alarm clocks in my room to wake me up at different phones. And I remember one day I woke up, turned off the phone, turned off another, and the last phone was on this higher shelf. So I leaned up, I tapped it, and when I went back to bed, I literally fell asleep mid-air. No joke, I fell asleep mid-air, I fell, and I hit on a corner of my face on my desk. So if you see closely here, I have like an upside down cut, and that cut was from my desk. And that was a huge wake-up call for me. Why? Because for me, I studied a certain way in high school, and there's times I could get away not studying as much just to pass a test or an assignment. But in college, it was very different. I couldn't do that, and it was more difficult. It was more challenging. And the reason why I share this with you is that I had to innovate. I had to change the way I was studying, how I was monitoring my time, not procrastinating. I had to change what I was doing to continually succeed. And what had happened was I changed my study habits where I was always stuck in the library. I made sure I studied with friends that were doing really well in the class I could learn from. We shared notes. We helped each other out. And because I focused on innovating how I approach life, that is what helped me to make the adjustment to that new normal of college. And I want you in a moment, think about in your life, what can you innovate? I remember when I started speaking, I have a mentor that made a really big difference in my life. And I was nervous because at the time I wrote my book, Succeeding in the Real World, What School Won't Teach You. And for me, it was like, man, like what you guys are doing, the prevention projects that you guys are doing in your community, like, man, why don't they teach about mental health? Why don't they teach about kindness and respect? And specifically, how do you do that when you don't feel that way? Or why aren't there classes more talk about alcohol awareness, about vaping? Because these are important things to talk about. They may not be sexy, but they're so important because they can have a dramatic impact on your life. So I wrote this book, and I decided to do a book launch at the University of Washington. And so what had happened was I had all these friends, and they sent out emails saying, you know what, Juan's doing this. We're here to support him. And I had all these people encourage me saying, this is awesome. This is amazing. But then I got an email from one professor at the University of Washington. And he said to me, this is great what you're doing, but come on, who are you to help students? What degrees do you have? Why would they want to learn from you when they can learn from me? And for me, that really hurt. And I was down on myself. I was thinking, man, maybe I can't do this. And this mentor said, Juan, I'm sorry you got this nasty email. And he said, Juan, but let me share with you a story. He says, I want you to imagine that you're a 12-year-old kid. And as you're eating breakfast, you're reading this newspaper about this 12-year-old kid, same age as you, that was killed recently because he was talking about and bringing awareness to child slavery. How would it make you feel? And for me, I said to him, like, oh my gosh, I'd feel heartbroken. I feel angry, upset. I feel like, man, I want to make a difference. And my mentor said, Juan, well, this kid you was made fun of. He's like, who are you to make a difference? You're only 12 years old. But he didn't allow that to stop him. And what's remarkable is Craig Kielburger had this gut feeling that, you know, I'm here to make a difference. And this is the thing that I'm passionate about, that I want to make a difference in. And what's amazing, when you fast forward many years later, Craig Kielburger, his organization is a worldwide nonprofit to help bring awareness on child slavery. In addition to that, they have incredible events all around the world called We Day. Some of you might have attended one of his events because I know they have We Day here in Seattle multiple times where they had Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, Sierra, all these people. But all this came about when he was 12-year-old and he had this vision. And my mentor said to me, Juan, he's impacting millions of kids worldwide. The reason why I'm sharing this story with you, Juan, is he says, Juan, whether you realize it or not, you have a gift to share, a gift that will impact and inspire millions of students worldwide. And whether you realize or not, they are depending on you. The reason why I'm sharing this story with you is because you've done some incredible things. As I said before, I had a chance to look through the virtual poster sessions that were submitted, and it's so amazing. But sometimes we don't give ourselves that acknowledgement. We think, oh no, I could have done more, I could have done better. No, it's focusing on what you did do. And it's understanding the ripple effect that you can have on people, right? You may have one or two people say, wow, thanks for sharing that. And I want to give you a metaphor. It's kind of like if you took a rock and you threw it into like a pond, and then all of a sudden you see this ripple effect. Well, that first ripple, it's like that person saying, wow, thank you. Thank you for stepping in and saying, you know what? You don't have to do that to try to fit in, be cool. You can just be yourself. The person saying thank you, that's that first ripple effect. But what happens is that ripple goes farther away. You don't see anything else, but it's still there vibrating in the water. Well, the people who not expressed their thank you to you, there's a lot of people out there. I can guarantee right now they're so thankful for what you've done with your prevention project within your communities. It could have helped someone that may never come in contact with you, but because they saw your post, because they attended your prevention summit, because of what you did, it made an impact in their lives, and it can cause a ripple effect in other people's lives. So my hope is that you understand is that you are making a huge difference. You are that leader that John Quincy Adams said, is that it's not through your words, it's through your actions, what you did with this project. And it's important to continue that momentum. I realize, again, things are different now. It's not ideal, but guess what? That's where you get to innovate. That's where you can find and be creative, a different way to get the message out, to continue sharing what you shared in your prevention project with other people, right? Some ideas. Number one, why not continue the celebration after the Spring Youth Forum? Why not meet up with your group via GoToWebinar, via Zoom, Google Hangout, whatever you want, whatever tool you use, but hang out, maybe just grab a virtual lunch together and hang out, a virtual coffee, a virtual hangout, and just say, you know what are you most proud of from our time together? What's a lesson you learned that you can use for the rest of your life? What do I appreciate most about you during our time and what we worked together? That's a way to continue that inspiration. Maybe for you, it's just, dude, just share after this event is tagging about that, I'm on the Spring Youth Forum, I'm having an amazing time, and I just want to share it with everyone, and doing a link to the website so that more people will know about what we're doing, and maybe we get more people to go to the prevention summit or join the clubs in your campus. So continue that inspiration. And I know that's what helps me. When I feel like times are tough, thinking, oh man, this is not ideal. I remember that story from my mentor. It says, Juan, whether you realize it or not, there's people out there that are depending on you. People that need to hear your message, that need that connection. They need that, someone to lend them that ear. Understand is that you have that impact as well. And here's what's amazing. There's people that you're impacting now that you may not be aware of by your actions, by how you hold yourself, how you treat other people. And it's important to continue that. I feel like it's a huge responsibility that we all have to make a difference in our schools, in our communities, the families and fellow youth. And I just want to encourage you to say, you know what, you're doing an amazing, amazing job. You have done an amazing job with your project, and you continue by how you show up and represent yourself, by being on this call and celebrating with each other, because together we can go so much further than by ourselves. Now, before I kind of finish our time together, I intentionally created a good amount of time for us to connect, for you to ask any questions regarding what's been on your mind. Maybe you're looking for advice regarding something we talked about. It doesn't matter what your question is. I just want to make sure on behalf of the entire team that puts on is that we're here, and for you to know that we're here to support you. And that's why we're creating this time. If you have any questions, something that you're going through, any thoughts on your mind, answers that you're seeking for, please enter it now, because this is our chance to interact. This is not planned in the sense of what I was going to talk about, because this is where you come in. This is where we engage. So please answer or ask any questions that you might have, and anything that you're going through that I can best support you. So first question, what is my name? My name is Juan Doe, spelled H-O-A-N, last name Doe, D-O. Connect with me on social media. Afterwards, if I'm supporting your way, feel free to reach out. We're on IG. We stepped up our game with TikTok, all that good stuff. But my name is Juan Doe. Now, here's the next question is, how can a senior of 2020 feel that this year is not a failure? That is such a good question. Thank you, Crystal, for sharing. And I want you to know that you're not alone, because I know it could feel, because I've spoken with a lot of different people that are seniors, that are getting ready to graduate, whether high school, college, and it's like, man, I had all this excitement pumped up where I had prom. I was getting ready, for graduation party, getting ready to get my job, internship, whatever it is. And it can feel like, oh man, all that's gone now. And I want you to know that if it's been tough, that it's okay. It's totally understandable, and I can totally empathize with you, because yeah, if you're getting ready to graduate this year, you have a lot going on and a lot to be excited about. And life happened. And there's a saying where, like, success, right? Some people think it's this line that goes straight up, but it's not. It takes zigzags. And I'm sure you can reflect back in your life where times you had this goal or these things you're excited about and it didn't work out according to plan. And that's life. And what I want to share with you is that, one, it's okay to feel what you felt. But then two, after processing those emotions, connecting with other people that are in the same boat, that are graduating this year, that maybe were bummed out, things have changed. This is the thing. Ask yourself, how can I make the best of this situation? How can I still make 2020 an incredible year? Because if you shift your focus by asking something, just literally writing it down on paper or talking out loud with a friend, you're going to come up with a lot of things. And when you shift your focus and you ask yourself that question, you're going to come up with things that excite you. Because I tell you where last year for me was a tough year. And I was excited for the beginning of this year, and then all of a sudden this happened. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I had all these goals and things I wanted to do. But then I allowed myself to process. From there, I connected with other people, and they're like, wow, I got to see other people that were doing well in every sense. They're able to acknowledge their emotions and then decide, no, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to make this decision that, life doesn't happen to me. I happen to life. I'm going to make things happen regardless, despite I'm going to acknowledge this is not convenient. This is not fun. I wanted these things, but you know what? I can still make it a good year. And I'm more committed to making this an amazing year than committed to saying, you know what, man, it's over. So if you're getting ready to graduate in 2020, biggest thing is acknowledge how you feel. Connect with other people that can relate so you can empathize with each other. And then it just comes to the decision, you know what? I'm going to make this a great year regardless of what's happening. I have a friend, they're holding a drive-by graduation for their senior, right? It's not ideal. It's not the same, but at least you can still see your friends. You still give each other kudos, right? I know I'm not sure if you guys saw, put in the box if you saw where former President Barack Obama, they had that virtual graduation. I thought that was so cool. They were innovative to share that inspiring message, to still honor and celebrate the 2020 class. And I want you to know is that it comes to making a decision. It's not about always like, man, I don't feel like this. You have to process that emotion, because whatever you resist will continue to persist. Let me say that again. Whatever you resist will continue to persist. So if you're at a place you're like, oh man, I'm kind of bummed out, and you haven't acknowledged that yourself, you haven't journaled, talked about it, and processed it, you're like, no, it's all good, it's all good. If you keep denying, that feeling is still going to be there. So the key thing is acknowledge how you're feeling, connect with people, and then it comes to, I'm going to make this decision. Again, it's not convenient, but I'm going to make it an amazing 2020 regardless of what's happened, because that is your choice. That is within your control. So I hope that was helpful. Other questions you have here. How do you stay motivated during this time? I say the biggest thing that's helped me is ask myself what things make me feel good. And I make sure I do it. So for example, when I wake up every morning, a routine I've had and I continue and I do even more of is when I wake up, I instantly think about what am I grateful for in life. I have my vision board of all my goals in different areas of my life. I do some singing because I love me some singing. I sing for about 5-10 minutes. I do some reading and I feel charged up and feel amazing. That's one of the things I do to help me stay motivated. I think too is that you got to have a vision in the sense of what am I working towards? Like, let's say each day, you know what? I want to learn something new today. So then you make time, because I know I have some cousins during school. They're like, hey, you know what? School, it's not as challenging, right? They give you a little homework. They're just doing their best. So with the extra time you have, why not learn something new? Maybe there's something during the school year that's like, oh man, I'm just too busy. I'm just too tired. I'm not able to do these things. But now there's no excuse. You have all the time in the world. So maybe for you, it's like, what's something I've always wanted to do or learn, but I never made the time for it? I'll do that thing now. And I think this is the caveat is whatever you're working towards, focus on progress, not perfection. Oftentimes you think like, oh, I have to do this a certain way, or I'm not going to be as good as this. It doesn't matter. All your goal is just to move forward in life. Every day, if you're moving forward, you're making progress, whether it's like physical exercise, I say 5 minutes more than I do usually. Maybe, I increased by an extra exercise a day. Maybe I had this meaningful conversation with my parent, with a sibling. Those are the little things in life that will help you to stay motivated. So find yourself things that make you feel good. Start adding it into your routine. And then 2, create yourself a goal, a vision of what you want to happen when school starts back up, where things get back to somewhat normal. What things you want to accomplish at time that will make you feel proud and excited, and work on those things. Other questions, make sure you keep it coming. We have a lot of great questions here. I work doing presentations for work and always get anxiety and nervous. And I think it's something, a trauma I went through in childhood experience. How can I get better and work daily trying to be better? I pray to God that allow me to get rid of the anxiety. I tell you, one, thanks for sharing. Thank you for having the courage to share. And you're not alone. I've had that plenty of times where there's things that have happened in my life that can be triggered or that can feel hurt. And that's why you got to connect with people that can support you, people that are professionals that can give you candid advice to work through the feelings and pretty much to let go of that feeling and to create a new experience. So in regards specific to presentations, this is my advice that helped me. I used to be so nervous, and there's still times I get nervous. Being nervous shows that it's important to you. So this is the key thing. To get better at something, you got to do more of it, right? Because a lot of people think, I got to be more confident I can do this. No, number one, you got to make a commitment. I'm going to do this. And by doing it, you build courage. By building courage, guess what? You become more competent. The more times you do it, you become more confident, you get more knowledge, and then you gain more confidence from that knowledge or experience you've built. So what I encourage you to do is with your presentations, maybe one thing that will help you to release that nervousness is ask how many times am I practicing? Because the more you do it, the better it gets. Russell Wilson, he says separation is in the preparation. So how often are you practicing? That can increase your confidence in feeling less nervous. Maybe two, it's realizing nervous is not a bad thing. I'll tell you, I get nervous every time I speak. A lot of us were nervous getting ready for this virtual spring youth forum because we didn't know what to expect. But what gave us more calmness is realize, you know what? If we did our preparation leading up to this, and our focus is make sure we have an amazing time with you. And I'm focused on having a good time, focusing on interacting with you. Everything's going to be all good because I'm focused on progress, not perfection. I'm going to celebrate the things we do well, and the other thing is you build upon your success. So hopefully that helped you out with your presentations. How do I manage a lot of stress? All right, so my advice on stress is simple. If you want to control your stress, you got to control your PMS. Now, some of you are thinking, oh, no, he didn't. He did not go there. Oh, yes, ladies, I did. And gentlemen, it is not funny because we got PMS too. PMS stands for your physical, your mental, and your spiritual health. To help manage stress, you got to move your body. And not just exercise, but I want to share with you this idea. Imagine this. Let's imagine that you're in a room and you're turned around like this. And your friends turned around. If you can hear in their voice that they're stressed out, do you think you could describe their body language, what they're doing with their face, their shoulders, and their voice without looking at them? I bet you could. Let's try it out. And go ahead and interact with me. Keep messaging back. Do you think their head, if they're stressed out, are they looking up or are they looking down? Right, down. Is their shoulders pulled back or is it leaning forward? Leaning forward. Is their breathing deep, full breaths, or is it quick and shallow? Quick and shallow. How do you know this? Because we all do it. Think about it. Whenever you're stressed, there's probably certain things you're doing. Maybe you're sitting down, or maybe you're working on a paper, an assignment, you're hunched over. You don't feel good. But check this out. Do me a favor. This is where I need your engagement. I can't see you. I'm going to trust you. If you're sitting down, just stand up for me. Just stand up. And I want you to put a big smile on your face. Keep cheese with me. Some of you think this makes silly, but I'm sure some of you are giggling about it. Some of you feel better because you're standing up. Well, changing the way you move your body physically will help change the way you feel. So think about it. If you're stressed out, first thing, oh, wait, what am I doing with my body? Maybe if you're sitting down, maybe you need to stand up. Maybe you need to go for a walk, take a couple of deep, full breaths. I mean, when you change the way you move, you change the way you feel. That's why exercise is so great to decrease the cortisol level in your body. That's why with yoga, running, moving your body, that's why it makes you feel better and less stressed. Secondly is your mental health. That's where it's having an honest attitude. I'll tell you what's helped me to acknowledge my feelings, but also to, if you remember from our time together at Prevention Summit, I talked about changing that playlist in our head, that Spotify plays that you're not good enough or you can't do that. Well, one thing that helps me, I started doing is I listen to a lot of inspirational stuff. Why? Because it makes me feel good. So personally for me, I started listening to some Steve Harvey. I really like his stuff. He's very straight to the point. He's a comedian, but he shares some pearls of wisdom. So for me, I listen to that. There's people I listen to like Gary Vaynerchuk, different people where they keep me inspired, but they also help me to feed my mind with good stuff. So that's how you got to take care of your mental health. Lastly, ask your spiritual health. It's simply making time for you. So think about your cell phone, right? End of the day, if your phone's dying, it's probably because you got a lot of apps running. You're streaming a lot of video, whatever it is. Well, you have a lot of apps in your life. You know, for you, you got school. You got dealing with the changes of what's happening in life. Maybe things are happening at home between friends. These apps, these things will drain your energy. Every day, you got to plug yourself back in. And that's making time for you. The things that you enjoy, right? Whether it's like, I'm going to take time to read, to journal, maybe it's going for a walk, talk to a friend. Make time to take care of you. So to lower your stress, control your PMS, your physical, your mental, your spiritual health. Question, when did COVID-19 start? There's a lot of different kind of discrepancies, but what I do know is that there are different moments where things have happened in regards to, I know they talk about back in January, back in the June time, back in early January, February, those type of things. So it's kind of, they're still figuring out when it specifics are because the different sources say different things. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have more time to engage one another. Thank you for asking your questions. We'll try our best to answer them later on, but keep them coming. Keep them engaged. I appreciate this. But what we're going to do is we're going to shift gears, right? So hopefully you take our message. Remember, imagine what is possible. First is having an honest attitude. Secondly, innovate. What things can you do differently than you did in the past? Lastly, inspire. People are depending on you. Keep that momentum going. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to shift gears, and we're going to have a message from the leadership from the Washington State Healthcare Authority.
Hey, welcome to the 2020 Virtual Spring Youth Forum. This is Sue Burrich. I'm the director of the Healthcare Authority here in Olympia, and I'm broadcasting in a whole new way. But before we get started, I wanted to do one thing. Even though we're physically not together today, I think it's really important that we start out with a land acknowledgement. It's a way to honor the history and culture of Washington's indigenous people. So here it goes. We begin by acknowledging, with humility, the land where we are today. For us here in Olympia, that is the territory of the Cowlitz and Chehalis people. Their presence is imbued in the waterways, the valleys, the mountains of traditional homelands of these Cowlitz and Chehalis people since time immemorial. And it is a gorgeous sunny day here today, and that beautiful warmth of the sun is shining down on our honor that we convey. So here's a few things I want you to hear from me. We're in unprecedented times. Never in our lifetime have we experienced a pandemic. Yet here we are together in a really different way. And I'm really glad and proud to see young people like you in Washington State finding positive ways to cope with our situation and working on one of the most important efforts out there, prevention. Thank you all and welcome to this wonderful youth forum. So on behalf of the Healthcare Authority and our partners, the Department of Health and the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board, I want to thank you for the hard work that you've been doing in the communities this year. Everyone on the call today not only accepted the challenge of working with their local schools and communities, you are doing so remotely using innovative solutions to help prevent substance use disorder and encourage healthy lifelong decisions amongst your friends and peers. You are truly an inspiration to all of us, and I'm really excited to see you continue your work as you move forward in your careers. What you started last fall, when I was able to join you in person, will help more of your peers reject alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, and be successful in school and in life. Thank you. That is exactly what we need to be doing right now, especially right now. Now, I'd like to introduce you to the next speaker, Carrie Waterland. Carrie is the Assistant Director of HCA's Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery, and she's an absolute dynamo. Carrie, take it away.
Hey everybody, thank you, Sue. And for the record, wanted to just say hi to everybody and that I am reporting to you from my home office. So I'm gonna be looking up every once in a while to remind myself of my talking points. But thanks a lot, Sue. Wonderful speech, and I think that it's great that everybody is hearing from you and your commitment around prevention. So thank you. You know, part of what I wanted to talk to folks about today is what a weird time we're in, right? It's just so strange that we are having this virtual Spring Youth Forum and that we are coming to you from places like our own homes. But now more than ever, prevention is absolutely imperative. I think that folks right now are looking for something to grab onto, and they're looking for a way to connect. And the more that we can show people just how we can connect in healthy manners that don't have anything to do with the use of substances, all the better. There are massively healthy ways that we can all get together, and there are things that I think are really exciting opportunities that can come from this and ways that we can shape prevention in the future. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what all of you have come up with. I'm really actually hearing excitement around some of the projects, and so I am just really wanting to hear all the strategies that you've come up with, and all of the things that you have come up with as far as how to get your peers to live healthy lifestyles. And keep in mind, really, all of this stuff that we're doing today and that you're doing today is going to be shaping the way that we are working tomorrow. So thank you so much. I really just am wanting to say that. I'm disappointed I'm not able to be there with you guys. It was my year anniversary, and you were my first group that I talked to officially in the position of Division Director for Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery. So you guys hold a special place in my heart. I wanted to give a really, really big shout out to those seniors who are graduating this year and say, it's gonna get better. It is, and you guys are living proof of the wonderful stuff that you can do when you just sit down and really put your mind to it. And I wanted to just let you know I'm thinking about all of you, and hope that everything is going your way. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will all be together soon. With that, I wanted to pass it on to Sarah Mariani. So Sarah, as many of you know, is the section manager of our, and I always kind of shorten it, so I'm gonna make sure that I get this entire thing right, of our substance use disorder prevention and mental health promotion section within the Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery. And the reason I have to read that out is we always just kind of call it prevention. So Sarah, take it away, and everybody else, have a great Spring Youth Forum. Bye.
Hello, everyone. I'm grateful to have you here and want to acknowledge that things are a little bit different this year. So a thank you to Juan, Sue, and Carrie for kicking us off. That was a wonderful chance to hear from you, Juan, and the different ways that you're taking care of yourself and providing advice for us. So thanks again for joining us for this event, and we're excited to keep going with this. This year, we're undergoing extreme change, and we talked about that a little bit as Juan was talking and taking questions. And not only here in Washington, but all over the world. Your prevention work is part of how people are getting through these tough times, and you should know that you're contributing and making a difference. And for that, I commend you. You've all come together, you planned, you implemented, you created projects to improve local communities. And every year, I look forward to hearing the amazing work that you're all doing. I say this every year, so some of you have heard this, but this is how I stay inspired all year long to do the work that I do, knowing that you're all out there making a difference in the community and really helping people and inspiring people to take care of themselves. You take care of yourselves, and it really creates amazing, healthy communities. So thank you for all of your work, and I continue to be amazed by the innovation, the teamwork, and your dedication to the future in your communities and making sure that everyone can thrive. This year, we're continuing our theme from the fall, which was Imagine, Innovate, and Inspire. And I can't think of a time where that theme is more relevant and appropriate for such an amazing and incredible group of youth that have come together and successfully planned, implemented, and created these projects in your local communities. It's really amazing to see. I'm very excited for the virtual poster session and for you all to get a chance to share. I know this isn't how we usually like to get together, but I still think it's going to be inspirational, and we're glad you were able to join us. I want to take a minute to just acknowledge the hours of planning and coordination that has gone into this, and particularly when we had to switch to a virtual event. We had to do some different planning, and I greatly appreciate the time and effort and work that our Spring Youth Forum Conference Chair, Tony Edwards, has put into leading and coordinating this great conference for us today. Additionally, the support that Casey Cates provided in supporting Tony through that shift and getting us set up so that we could get together today, albeit over the internet. Additionally, there's a number of staff and volunteers that have contributed to today's work, and I'd like to just take a brief moment to acknowledge them. So today we have helping out Samantha Schrader, Martha Williams, Emily Hammock, Grace Wilkowski, as well as Samantha Penglinin. Lastly, I want to acknowledge the UNR logistics staff that have helped us for a number of years on all of these conferences. But again, they took extra effort as we knew we couldn't get together in person to make sure that we could still have this time with you today. I can't wait to see these virtual posters and all the work that you've done. You've done incredible work in your communities and made sure that there's really amazing efforts. Thank you again. Keep up the fantastic work. And now I believe we'll take a quick transition break to go to the poster sessions. Back to you, Juan.
Sue, Carrie, and Sarah, thank you so much for sharing and making the time to connect. I know that everyone's all busy, so for you to make the time and to share your message, it really means a lot, so thank you. Now, we're getting ready to shift gears to something we're all so excited about, and it's recognizing and celebrating you. All the amazing things that you've done these last couple months, all that hard work, we're about to showcase it off. And just to kind of give you some context, this is your first time where this is the highlight of the Spring Youth Forum, is we have a chance, and we had different teams submit a virtual poster session that illustrates your project, what you implemented in your community, and the impact you made. We had 5 categories: 1, innovation; sustainability; impact; presentation style specialism, that's actually together; and the last thing is collaboration and partnerships. So you guys had submitted it in, and real quickly, if I could, before we show it, if you could, in the question area, go ahead and let us know, if you submitted a poster session, go ahead and what group you're representing. What's your club name or your group name, your project name, so we can make sure we pay attention and look out for you during the virtual poster session. Go ahead and enter that in the box. But what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to pretty much show them. And what I'm going to ask as a team is that we're going to take a moment and just watch the great things that each group has done. Why? Because I know when someone celebrates for me on something I've done versus hating on me, it feels so good. And it feels so awesome to be able to celebrate and support one another, because oftentimes some people don't have those environments. But what's cool about us here, when we're focused is on prevention work, helping people be healthier, make better choices, is that we're here with this same mission, same passion in this work. So make sure when we showcase this in the next minute or two is to stay on and to seek out the great things that each other are doing. And just to throw a kicker, you'll be watching the virtual poster session. If you want, you can grab a glass of water, whatever, but go and stay tuned. And throughout the poster session, go and type in what amazed you or impressed you most about each poster session that goes through. Because afterwards, I'll be sharing with you one of the gifts that we'll be giving for being engaged during this webinar. We're not going to select the people during the webinar. I'll at least let you know by staying on until after the post session is over. I'll let you know what's going to be given out from my end for those who are being engaged. So make sure your audio is open. Hello and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed seeing what everyone did with their virtual poster sessions, but also had a chance to get a stretch break or grab something to snack on and its drink. Just to say, it is so cool to watch and see the virtual poster sessions and also read about it in advance, because I think what's really great using the theme of imagine, innovate, and inspire is that your creativity or the way you're able to innovate and do your project differently from each other was so cool, because whether it's in person, whether it's lunch and learns, summits, whether it's through stickers, social media awareness, each and every one of those things will hit people in different ways. So thank you for your creativity, and thank you for the countless hours that you put in that a lot of people didn't get to see. I know for me, I like to share it as social media. It's kind of like, I call it, there's sexy stuff and non-sexy stuff, meaning a lot of times people post things that's great about them, that's happening in their life, but they don't post the other stuff, the challenging stuff. And I know with these projects, there was a lot of non-sexy stuff, the work behind the scenes that people didn't see in the effort that you put into your project. So thank you. And again, kudos and congratulations for the impact that you made in your communities. Now, in a moment, we're going to shift gears and we're actually going to open up the line where we want anyone who'd like to share regarding your project, things that you took away. So I actually have a certain question I'm going to ask you, but in a moment, I want to give you an opportunity. If you've been sticking with us for this virtual spring youth forum, is that we want to actually hear from you. But before I share that, I did promise for sticking around and being engaged is that I would let you know what is the prize, or one of the prizes I will be giving out directly to you for being engaged in our time together. And pretty much what we're going to do is the team will be looking at the people who stayed engaged, asked thoughtful questions. They'll determine winners for a $5 gift card to Starbucks. So from me to you, they will select the person, and I will send directly a virtual gift card so that you get your favorite drink or snack from Starbucks as a kudos for staying engaged in our time together. Now, I like to shift gears and open up the floor to anyone who'd like to share regarding their project and their takeaways. So what's going to happen, it's really simple, is if you'd like to be a volunteer, you simply choose the raise your hand option, and then you'll be selected and you'll be prompted to call, where then I will kind of give you instructions from there. So if you'd like to share regarding your experience and reflect on your prevention project, please raise your hand right now. And Samantha will kind of give you instructions and then let me know who's chiming in, and then I'll ask you a question for you to share with the group. And let me share, it's so important because the learning lessons you get through the project, through good times, challenges, by sharing it, it's going to help other people to tweak or do things moving forward with what they've done so far, but also for next year might inspire an idea that they can apply and implement in their communities for next year. So we want to thank you in advance for sharing, but who would like to be the very first volunteer to hop on and to kind of reflect all of us, what you've done and what you took away?
Thank you, Juan. Jalen Sotilo, thanks for your willing to share out. I'm gonna put you off mute. You can speak freely.
Hi there, can everybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you perfect. Welcome. Thank you. I saw you've been engaging with a lot of great thoughts and questions, so thank you for that. And I guess the one thing I'm really curious about is, can you share about your prevention project and a huge success in your guys' eyes that happened in implementing it within your community?
Yeah, so our project for this year is we attend an event every year called Prevention Policy Day at Olympia. And this year we spoke about preventing alcohol abuse in our community. This meant implementing stricter regulations. And so by doing this, we spoke with our legislators. We have youth voice implemented into policy work. This year we spoke with 6 legislators representing the 18th district, and I'm completely blanking, 2 other districts in the Clark County area of Southwest Washington. And we are 27 youth from around Clark County. And so with our project, we were able to get youth voice into policy work, really make sure that our voices and thoughts were being heard. And this project, we collaborated together to write a pitch for our legislators, and we detailed like what we would like to see happen. We detailed how we would like to see this happen and what a great plan would be going forward. And we also left them with 6 things to remember, so that when we walked away from it all, these would be the main points that we want them to remember, and we left them with a one-pager as well.
Wow. I'm curious about this. There's 27 you guys, and I know projects, different teams have different numbers, but I know that's a lot of people, and to get everyone on the same page and to take that step further and to meet with legislators in person, I know for me, if I was doing it, it can feel intimidating. So I'm curious, how did you guys feel in going to Olympia and meeting them face to face and sharing this with them in person?
Right. So there's 27 of us in our coalition STASHA, but only I believe it was 8 or 10 of us that went. So we only take 8 or 10 of us because obviously we can't fit 27 people in a van.
Right.
In a perfect world, we could. But so basically, yeah, it can be easy for some people to maybe if it's their first time to feel overwhelmed or to feel nervous about the whole thing. This past year was my 3rd year doing it. I know for some people it was their first. So I've had experience in doing it, and I think what happens is a lot of people who in our group who have had experience, we kind of mentor those that, you know, haven't gone to policy day as many times, and we kind of like to show our peers the ropes and give them that spotlight to make their voices heard as well. We make sure that we have subcommittee meetings before we actually go to Prevention Policy Day to write the pitch, to make sure everybody's on the same page, toss around ideas and whatnot. And it really is like a community of mentorship, because we, you know, all are there to take care of each other, throwing around different ideas that we may think are productive. And it's really just an awesome environment for all ages and all experiences to get in there and really make an impact in prevention and policy work.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I think you shared something very important about mentorship, where understand this prevention work for everyone here. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think it's so cool that this is your 3rd year and you have other people who've had that experience to mentor. This is a journey that we're going on. And if this is your first time here, congratulations, and continue being involved. Last question I have for you is, it seems like your group is, you have a pretty large coalition. And I'm curious if you can share, because I know before all this happened, I was talking with a couple different coalitions where we're going to do some work for a prevention summit. Of course, everything got canceled, but I know one of the challenges a lot of people say is, how do you keep people engaged and excited? And with you knowing how big your number is there a tip that you'd share that have helped you guys to have the number that you have and to be as engaged as you are? Is there any tips that you'd share from your group that's been really effective that can help other groups that are looking to increase their size of their club and organization or coalition?
Right. Yeah, definitely. We have, I think our total capacity that we can have is 30, and we've been able to sustain a pretty active and fair number. And I think a lot of that has been marketing. We're not really, I know a lot of groups are centered in a school. We're not just a school, we're a whole county. We represent almost every single school district in Clark County except for one. And so we really try and go out there. When we're doing our recruitment, we get flyers going. This year we're going to be utilizing a Google forum for applications for our coalition instead of traditional paper, since it, you know, due to quarantine and everything, it may be difficult to actually, you know, get in there and all that. So I think that's one of the things, is just our recruitment strategy, really reaching out to people. And another thing is, even now it's been really hard with COVID-19 and everything, but what we have been doing with our meetings and such is we've been continuing to have virtual Zoom meetings. What we've also been doing is implementing, like on Fridays or stuff like that, we have been implementing ways to just kind of get the group bonded. So for example, last week we had a game night, and the week before that we just had a movie night where you could just come and hang out and talk with your fellow STASHA members. And it wasn't anything, formal or anything like that, just opportunities for bonding. And I think that is a really critical piece, because prevention is a very serious thing. And sometimes it can be a little disheartening in a sense, it's a very serious topic. And so by having kind of an outlet to really connect and just establish bonding time with one another, I feel it's really important. I feel it's really helped our group as well become more connected with one another, having these opportunities to have fun, just share, and also have a good time while doing work that we know is valuable for our community.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing about your successes and also some tips that will help other clubs and coalitions to not only retain members, to increase it. So thank you so much for sharing, Jalen.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Who else would like to share? This is so great. Again, Jalen, you just shared some great pearls of wisdom that a lot of groups, like I said, are craving. So thank you again for that. Who else can share about what you did with your project, but also you can share also the particular challenge that you faced and that you've overcome? So who would like to hop on next to kind of be highlighting and to share about your experience and what you guys did?
Thank you, Jalen, for sharing. Crystal would like to share, so I'm going to unmute you and you can start speaking.
Hi, my name is Crystal Victoriano. I am a senior at Sunnyside High School and also a co-president for Crescent Prevention Club. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. And you said where are you from?
Sunnyside.
Sunnyside. Awesome. Well, tell us about what was your guys' project and what was the challenge that you guys encountered along the way that you guys had to overcome to continue pushing forth?
Well, our project was an opioid summit, so it was a lunch and learn, and a couple of the problems we had were our community is mixed, so we do have Spanish speaking only and English, so we did have it had to be bilingual, so we did face that challenge, but we overcame it pretty quickly because we do have a lot of bilingual students in our club, so that was great.
Okay.
And also, with a lot of parents having different age children as well was a big problem, but we also wanted to encourage everybody to still be able to come. So we had different age groups and different groups. So we had 3 different age groups. We had adults, youth, and pre-K to 5th grade in different rooms. So we all teach them different things. So of course the parents got more of the statistics and sit down. The youth got more of like how they can do different things with their brain, and even we had them do like yoga. We had different mental health involved and letting them know how opioid really does mess with someone's mental health. And with the little kids, we had them watch Inside Out and learn how the brain really works and how different things can affect them. So it was pretty great on seeing how they can just come together and see how they all learn in different ways, but also get the same message at the end as well.
Wow, that is so cool. I'll tell you, Crystal, where I know I saw what you guys did on your poster, and I'm curious about this. You guys is a monthly lunch and learn. So how many months did you guys hold this meeting?
We started off in March, so we wanted to be kind of an annual thing to see how it really goes. But of course, now because of the whole COVID thing, we want to push it till the fall and see how it will affect what phase we get into and how everything will continue. But we want to have it pretty frequently to let the community know that we're not giving up on them, and any chance they have to even get the kids off the street and bring them somewhere where they know, they'll be safe is pretty important to us. So we want to try to have it as frequent as possible, but as the situation occurred now, we're not able to. So we're just trying to keep the spirits up and try to have everything positive.
It's so cool. I want to really highlight and acknowledge you guys on this, where something very powerful that you shared that you guys did that I feel can be really helpful for all future prevention projects is that you guys really catered to the people who attended. One being having someone else speak Spanish and English, so having the different languages so that especially with parents who may not understand, to have that direct communication. Is earlier shared by Jalen that Now, this topic can be very serious. And when you add like language into it as well, to be able to translate it effectively and communicate the right way is so important. So that's so cool that you guys were able to adapt to that. And then secondly is knowing that because it's a serious topic, you guys tailored how you're going to teach different age groups. And I think that's so important because when we do a prevention project, it's easy to like, let's do this idea and spread it to everyone. But as you guys know, if you hear something from a parent or hear something from a friend, hear something from myself, it can be the same thing, but it connects you in a different way because of the messenger. Well, think about what you guys did with the youngers watching Inside Out and different age groups. You tailored the topic that can be heavy in a digestible way that can help each age group understand the impact of this. So I want to really commend you guys. I think that's so cool. And that's a really great learning lesson that we can all apply what we're doing now, but in the future with our prevention projects is making sure that we realize that challenges will happen. If you're focused on the outcome of serving the community, you'll find a way. You got to be innovative and make sure you tailor the message to specific audiences so that they can understand. So thank you so much for sharing your guys' success, but also how you guys overcame this challenge.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on. And yeah, it was pretty important for us to, our big motto is making a positive impact. So we do want to not only take it to students, but also bring it directly to kids and start teaching them young. And Prevention Club will like reach out to them younger. So yeah, we did hit like 5 elementary, 7 daycares, and we just want to like help everyone out. So thank you for having us on, and thank you guys.
Yeah, most of that, Crystal. We'll keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, who else would like to share? I know we have another great question, and I want to have more insight to have kind of diversity of who's been sharing and the lessons that you learned. So if you want to share it, please go ahead and raise your hand. And I want to make sure that we can highlight you and hear from your experience.
Thank you, Crystal, for sharing. And thank you for everyone raising your hand and putting in the question box that you'd like to share. Up next, we have Caitlin. So Caitlin, I'm going to put you off mute and you can speak freely now.
Okay, hi, I am representing Crescent Connect, which, our prevention club is Crescent United Prevention, and our project was basically, at the begin, on our first prevention meeting, we basically talked about, like how students would feel more connected, because each year we do a survey and a lot of our students didn't feel connected, so we had an idea where we could do a lot of stuff to make our students feel connected with each other. So yeah.
Very cool. And then Crescent, if I'm not mistaken, is Miss Tuesday your guys' advisor out there?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. The reason why I'm bringing this up and the reason why you guys are fresh in my mind is that I know I've been connected with her where we're going to do a prevention event with you guys later on, beginning of the school year. So it's so cool to make that connection with you hopping on and sharing. So I'm curious then, so with what you guys are doing, I can vividly remember your guys' poster and different things you're doing. I mean, at these different columns, went left to right, and reflecting back on what you guys did. I'm curious for you personally.
Yes.
What was a huge prevention lesson that you learned along the way because of your guys' project and what you guys are doing?
Well, one lesson that we learned, because sorry, I'm gonna get a little bit sidetracked, but I'll go back. So we started having our meetings at lunch, which our coordinator, I don't really know I forget what they are, but our counselor, her name's Melissa, she's really great, but students would always go to her classroom at lunch, and that brought a lot more kids to our prevention. So we got a lot more input from other students besides that were just in the prevention, so we got a lot more people joining because of that. But they talked about how they didn't feel as connected, and we learned that a lot of students felt better if they talked to like either youth, or they liked having they liked having
No, you're good.
the different events. Like, so we had a lot of lunchtime games. We we did a lot. Like I believe each month we would do like a different thing at lunch. So I believe it was in February we did I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. I'm like freaking out. No, I'm
No,
not
you're
freaking out.
doing great.
I'm stressing.
No, you're doing great.
We had, thank you. Children of Awareness, Children of Addiction Week, which is where
Mm,
so we handed out candy while as students walk out of the cafeteria, um, which was really good. And then we also handed out stress balls.
uh-huh.
And yeah, so we learned that students like feel a lot more connected talking to each other than to teachers because like you can just connect more when you're talking to someone like near your own age.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And that's so, I appreciate you sharing that because you think about what you guys are doing where I shared the idea earlier, same message, different messenger. Where if they have, if you guys had adults talking about this, it's a different connection and you guys got that feedback. And when it's a peer to peer, that emphasizes so important why
Yeah,
what you guys are doing is so important because to hear it from a fellow classmate, it makes a huge difference. So thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
Awesome. And then I'm going to follow this extra question for you is that now doing, now what you guys have done and what you have with your prevention project, what would you say is something that you're just so proud of in what you guys have done? What's a moment you're just so proud of? When you look back, you think like, wow, I'm so glad that we followed through, we made this happen for our community.
yeah. I'm really proud of that. Like a lot. I joined our prevention club, the beginning of last year, and we were basically just coming up with ideas for the next year since it was in the middle of the year, but we didn't really do that much last year, but we are
Hmm.
planning ideas for this year, and I'm really happy that we did so much for the time that we had school this year, because
Yeah.
yeah, we had a middle school dance. We were supposed to have another middle school dance last week, but school got canceled, so we sadly couldn't do that. But we had we did we made cookies for a concert that we had at our school. We would have lunchtime games. We had Red Ribbon Week, which was
Hmm.
an event that every day we would do something different. And actually, me and a friend of mine, we got the we talked to sixth graders about we told them of prevention facts because our school we have problems with that type of stuff. So since they just got in the middle school, we thought that it would be good if we told them some facts about what vaping can do to you and smoking and yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for hopping on and for
Yeah.
sharing about what you guys have done as well as your prevention lesson from the experience.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
awesome.
Caitlin.
Well,
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna put
Samantha, do
you
we have
back
another
on
person?
mute. Yeah, we have a lot of people. So,
Awesome.
Clarence, let me. All right, Clarence did have their hand up, but I don't see them anymore. So I am gonna go to Alyssa S. I'm gonna unmute you and feel free to speak now.
Hi. So my name is Alyssa Schuth, and I'm part of the WISP Club with Sedroy High School.
Okay. Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you for attending. Help us to understand what did you guys do with your prevention project and what was something that you guys achieved that you guys are just like, you know what, we're very proud of what we've done.
So basically what we did was a WISP wellness challenge where we came up as a group with each day we would do a certain like challenge. So like Monday we did no phone lunch, and we kind of made like charts out, and we also posted it onto Instagram to get all followers and our school district to see it, make it more viral, and we gained a bunch of followers, and we also gained 2 new club members as an achievement for it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And then what inspired the idea for you guys to choose that particular topic and to do it in that way?
From what I can tell, I think it was we were trying to not just involve progression, but also involve like mental health and try to come up with ways to help everyone, not just certain people, to involve more people.
Yeah. Very cool. And that's so awesome that not only did you guys get a lot of traction by posting on Instagram, but the fact that you got 2 new members, that is so awesome to hear, because again, for different groups I've talked to, when it's like, oh man, we want to get more people engaged. We want people to feel it's cool to do prevention work. We want people to step up the leadership positions. The fact that you guys did a campaign on social media, got a lot of followers, you got 2 members out of it. It just shows where you guys need to just focus on the effort that you put in, right? Some things are going to work, some things aren't, but by trying new things, maybe it's trying what you just heard about, hey, we should do something around Instagram, around TikTok, and like, hey, possibly you can it can be not only awareness, so it can be a recruitment tool. So thank you so much for sharing about what you guys did, but also about the success that you guys achieved.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
curious,
you,
what
Alyssa.
year are you into this, Alyssa? Is this your first time?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Okay. If you were, this is a personal question, and being doing this for the first time, if you were to give someone else advice who's going through their first time in involved in prevention work, what piece of advice would you give them if they're just joining it and listening and doing it for the first time?
I would really say just take it one day at a time and just go for it. Don't be nervous to the people who you might talk to, because like for me, I was super nervous of me getting judged, because that's just one thing I struggle with. But as I've learned throughout my experience, many people aren't going to judge you if you just speak your mind and you give your ideas.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's so powerful, because I'm sure all of you have felt that one when I know I do, when it's like, wait a minute, should I do, for me, I see it as what is right over what's popular. And it's talking about subjects like you guys are talking about. It's not the popular thing. It's like, why do we have to talk about that? Let's just talk about something else. But understand that you're always going to be judged. But when you learn to let go of what other people think about you that are not important, and only to focus on the people who are important to you, that's the key. So thank you so much for sharing that piece of advice that I feel all of us can relate to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm going to go ahead and put you on mute. Now we're going to have Clarence share. So Clarence, I'm going to unmute you and feel free to start speaking. Oh, Clarence, don't mute yourself. I can do it for you right now. Okay, now you're good to go to start speaking.
Can you hear me, guys? Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I am Clarence. I'm with Rock Solid. My 2 other buddies are here too. Luke and Ramona. Just want to give them a quick shout out. For our prevention project that we did, we actually went and we talked to the middle schoolers via Zoom call. With the whole coronavirus that came up, school actually ended, I believe it was 2 weeks before we were going to do our presentation. So it ended up that we had to completely learn how to redo everything. We worked with teachers, we worked with the staff, and some really awesome guidance counselors to help us get into a virtual classroom to actually present. We did 3 presentations, one on social norms and how we perceive each other and how other people perceive substance abuse and the assumptions we make about that. And then we also did one about social media and how to really break down the advertisement to find out its true meaning. And then our final presentation, which was one of my personal favorites and one that we actually presented to our local prevention coalition, was about hope, the science of hope, and how being hopeful is one of the biggest ways to tell about someone's overall mental and physical well-being. Yeah, and it was so awesome to work with my younger peers because I feel like it was really information that I wish I had learned in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such an amazing experience.
Very cool, Clarence. Well, let me ask you this, is obviously you guys encountered a huge challenge, literally a couple weeks right before you were out to do your presentations. You guys adapted via virtual. I'm curious, what kept you guys motivated to say, you know what, we're not going to allow this to stop us. We're still going to make this happen. What happened for you guys to feel that way and to make that decision as a group?
Well, I know personally for me, I heard about the coronavirus thing. School got canceled. My brother is a senior. I saw him be very disheartened. So I had pretty much given up hope. But my team advisor, Debbie Fincher, what a wonderful human being. She would not let us give up, and she inspired us to keep going and keep pushing through and find a way to do it. And we did.
Yeah. Was it as hard as you thought it would be to make adjustments? Was it easier? What would you say regarding that?
I would say it was both easy and hard, if that makes sense. It was a lot to try to adjust to Zoom and learn how to do that. We had a lot of problems with the chat and dealing with muting and unmuting people and how to keep people engaged and participating, even though we're not in the same, room. But once we got that figured out and the ball started rolling, it was very easy to pick up and just really go for it.
Wow, that's so awesome. One, kudos to you guys for pushing through when times get tough. And thank you so much, Ms. Debbie, for encouraging your youth to continue, because there's two things I want to share. Number one, for anything, for you to achieve anything that's worthwhile in your life, it's going to force you to do something that's not in your comfort zone. Compare it to like exercise, right? Let's say I take a dumbbell and I lift the weights. If it's easy, then you don't get tired. But when you start getting tired, you realize, you know what, this is good because I'm getting stronger. And what you guys did is, rather than resisting the challenge, you guys jumped right into it. And of course, it's going to be hard because it's new. But once you get doing it a couple times, it gets easier and you learn this new skill set, you expanded your comfort zone. So kudos to you guys for that. And then two, having a caring adult, having a caring person to believe in you when you stop believing in yourself, to encourage you, is so critical. And I know this is called the Spring Youth Forum, but for all the adults, we want to acknowledge and thank you. And if you guys can put in the questions, just give a thank you and a couple exclamation marks for all the adults, because they're super busy, but the reason why they do is because they're so passionate about it. They care for you guys genuinely, not only to succeed with your prevention project, but you and your lives. So thank you, Ms. Debbie, for inspiring them. And because of that, it's that ripple effect that you guys made on these middle schoolers and youth. So thank you so much for sharing about your project. And I'm so glad we found you, Clarence. We couldn't find you for a while, but I'm glad you shared, and thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for this. It's really wonderful that we still get to be here.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Clarence. I'm going to put you back on mute. Next, we have Naomi. I'm going to unmute you and feel free to start sharing. Oh, all right, there you go.
Hey, Naomi, welcome.
Naomi, you are off mute and you can start speaking now if you'd like. Looks like Naomi's having a little bit of technical difficulties. I will see if our team can help you out, but let's go to Alyssa G. I'm going to unmute you now and you can start speaking.
Hello, my name is Alyssa Garza. I am the president of the White Laundry Makers.
Very awesome. Well, let me ask you, where are you calling from?
I'm from Hera, but I'm representing the White Laundry Makers.
Okay, awesome. And tell us about your project and a huge prevention lesson you've learned while going through and making it happen.
Alrighty. We've had so many prevention projects, but the one that we chose to represent this year was our sticker shock. Sticker shock
Okay.
is where we go to local businesses and put stickers on water bottles or pop bottles, or deli products that they have, deli fountain cups, that show different facts about how our teens don't abuse alcohol or drugs, and we're trying to crush our perception that all teens abuse drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And since we weren't able to go into our local businesses, which we have the Cougar Den and our trading post there in White Swan, since we weren't able to because of COVID-19, we were able to stick our stickers onto our school lunches that were going out to the families and all of our students here in Hera and White Swan. And the biggest lesson that we had was that it was a very difficult job since the Dreammakers weren't able to go through and do it themselves, but we were able to get our counselor to do it in honor of us. And so hopefully throughout this time that we don't get to do it, we really hope that the teens and the families bring home those stickers and read them. And we were able to get 970 stickers out to our community.
Nice.
So we're still trying our best to get out our message.
Okay. And then knowing that you guys chose the medium of a sticker to create awareness, if let's say next year someone's on this call, a coalition or a club wanted to do that as one of the things they do throughout the year is to create stickers and to post it and share about it, what's one piece of advice that you could share with them that would make their effort in creating these stickers a lot easier, that you guys kind of learned kind of the difficult way?
I would say that you would need to go through all of your data that you have for that year or a previous year that's close to the time that's almost the exact same as when you want to make your stickers. And so that way you have good evidence and data to go off of and not old data.
Powerful advice. Thank you so much for sharing about your project, as well as a prevention lesson that you learned along the way.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm going to put you back on mute. And I believe we fixed Naomi's technical difficulties. So Naomi, I am going to put you off mute. All right, Naomi, you should be able to speak freely now.
Are we still running some errors?
Yeah, looks like she's still having some technical difficulties. I am so sorry about that.
No, not at all. Quick question. Do we have someone after this?
Yeah, we do have a few people that want to share still. I'm going to go ahead and unmute Madison. Madison, you can speak freely now.
Welcome, Madison. Can you hear us?
Hi, I'm Madison Bueller.
Welcome. Awesome. And then real quickly, Madison, I want to give a quick pause. For Naomi, we want to make sure you feel acknowledged, that we hear you. If the audio doesn't work, if you could do me a favor, Naomi, is just go ahead and enter it in the questions what you guys did your project on, and then something that you're proud of in regards to what you guys did, and then I'll make sure I read it out loud so that we can share, because I know you've been wanting to share and we have those challenges. So please feel free to enter if you'd like, and then we'll make sure we acknowledge you. Now, so I'm back with you. What is your organization? And then what did you guys do? And then lastly is, what was the challenge you guys faced and overcame throughout?
I'm at HOTS at Freddie Harbor Middle School, and we worked on mental wellness, which was spreading awareness throughout our school, since we had 6th, 7th, and 8th, and all the grades were in our HOTS. We wanted to make sure that the whole school was had mental wellness. So we focused, our big project, we kind of focused on depression and anxiety, and we worked on this video. Well, I think the hard part was the editorial process and just trying to find the time, since the time periods were pretty slow and pretty quick for when we could meet, to try to fit it in and to work out so everyone was involved, because we really wanted to make sure so everyone could participate, and we wanted to make sure that everyone gets bits of information and gets to participate. So to find a way how to do that, and then continue through the coronavirus, like after we came, we still wanted to continue and make sure like everyone could participate and everyone had their voice in the situation. And this was my first year, so first experience, it went pretty well, and I enjoyed working with HOTS.
And then how did you guys as a group decide upon mental health? Because I know when you're working in a group environment, some people are passionate about different topics. How did you guys come to that decision?
We kind of bounced around a few ideas, and we decided on it, I think mainly because we wanted to focus on helping around our school and to spread awareness. And then also some of ourselves in HOTS, we just wanted to decide to spread awareness and to make sure that everyone knows that they're not alone in this, and that they have their voice too.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for hopping on and for sharing the incredible work you guys are doing, creating awareness on the mental health, but also make sure everyone is engaged and involved. So congratulations on what you guys did, and thanks so much for sharing about your experience.
Thank you.
Awesome. So what we're going to do, I was trying to looking for Naomi. I didn't see anything on my end. Naomi, again, if you want us to kind of share, please feel free to message me. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of transition. I know you've been so amazing, all of you, in sticking through this with us. And I want to respect everyone's time, because I know there's probably things you guys want to do. You guys might be feeling super inspired and want to continue what you guys have been doing. So before we kind of slowly wrap up, we want to congratulate you guys again for all your hard work, for all that you made happen in these 6 months, for all of the creativity, out-of-box thinking, the adjustments that you made to push through during these uncertain times. And we want you to know that, again, your impact, it's more than what you see. You guys are that rock in that pond, and it's continuing to pursue what you guys are doing, continue it, realize it's not the end. This is just the beginning. Those projects are just a setup for something greater, and it's constantly creating the awareness, putting in that effort. So with that being said, we want to acknowledge and give you guys a gift for all of your hard work behind the scenes. And it's something really cool where you guys will each get your prevention swag kit sent directly to where you live. So in it, there's a different assortment of information, resources on health promotions, efforts around COVID-19. You're going to find some great resources of like healthy ways to cope with stress, different activities to engage in while you're at home. So once you get it, I don't know exactly when, but be on the lookout in the mail. You get a package with all these goodies. But once you get it, let us know that you got it. I mean, feel free to post on social media about it. Feel free to reach out to your advisor to let them know, because we want to recognize you for your hard work. So that's something special from us that we want to send to you to thank you guys. With that being said, unfortunately, our time's coming to a close. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of fun. I've been amped up, just like jumping around. And it's because I'm just imagining hanging out with you guys. But more importantly, what's keeping me excited throughout this time is just hearing about your guys' stories and seeing the impact that you're making. Because I know the impact that you guys are making in your communities will be long lasting. I remember there's people in my life that talk to me about making healthier choices, whether I attended a conference or something happened at our school, and it still stuck with me. And that's what you guys leave. You never know who your message is going to resonate with, and that's why you got to keep putting out that effort. So as we get ready to conclude, I want to make sure we give recognition to this individual. This person has been working tirelessly for you guys, and he literally flipped everything. This wouldn't be happening without this individual. So if you could, in the question area, go ahead and say a big thank you, or if you want, you can snap your fingers, clap your hands for Mr. Tony Edwards, who is the conference chair. And this would not be happening, this virtual summit, if it wasn't for his commitment to make this happen. So please make sure to thank him inside the question box. And then with that being said, unfortunately, we are adjourning for the day. And I just want to say on the behalf of the Spring Youth Forum Planning Committee, the UNOR Conference Service Group, and all the volunteers who made this possible, and of course, the Washington Healthcare Authority Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery, is to say thank you again for the amazing work that you did and will still continue to do to make a positive impact in the area of health and wellness for youth, for families, and communities around us. Give yourselves a huge pat on the back and continue this momentum. Don't let it stop here. Find a way to stay connected, like whether it's hopping on a Zoom meeting and connecting, hang out with your coalition, your members. But let this be the beginning, not the end. Thank you so much for joining us this year for the first ever virtual Spring Youth Forum. We're looking forward to seeing you here next year, hopefully at the Great Wolf Lodge. In the meantime, I wish you all the best, guys. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay well. Take care.